Hey guys, welcome to the first week of book club. I'm so excited you're joining us. Here's the thing. We started this whole project with the subject of surrender. And I know that is so tricky. That is, honestly, I feel like sometimes I'm like saying these very difficult words and people are like, no, I will never do it. I will never do it. But the truth is, surrender is tied completely to your freedom. And if I said the word freedom, everybody would raise their hand and say, I want that. I need that. My son last night, we were talking about a mistake he made recently. What was a big mistake? He snuck into our room and started watching a movie that was highly inappropriate. And so we're processing this together and talking about what this means. And of course, you know, I'm a Bible teacher. I'm bringing Romans 8. I'm like, dude, there's two ways. One leads to sin and death. One leads to life and peace. And of course, he's like, well, I don't want sin and death. Like, I want life and peace. But the road to that is what's so difficult, right? It's not easy to turn off the TV show that you want to watch for him. You know, that's his world right now. And that's how we feel when we look at surrender. When we think about giving up things and opening our hands of control and comparison and, you know, visions of what we want our life to be, that feels terrifying. Because what if it doesn't work out the way we thought? What if it isn't God's plans for us to have a family? What if it isn't God's plans for us to live in a comfortable suburb and have enough money? What if it isn't God's plans for us to get to use our gifts in the exact way that we want? You know, and I think all of us wrestle with that when we're thinking about the word surrender. So I've been taking a lot of questions from you guys in different forms. Some of you are emailing them to us. Some of you are sharing them on Instagram. But I wanted to start with one of those questions because honestly, I just think so many of you will relate to this. It's so real. So someone wrote in, what if I don't want to live bold and risky? What if I'm just fine, feeling safe and comfortable? What if I don't want to surrender everything to God? What will my story be? And I loved it because it was so real, because that was me for so long. I think I thought I had surrendered, and I think that in many ways I probably had. But let me just make it super clear about what I'm talking about in this, is that anything would be more important than God and his will for us. And so for me, you know, as I talk about in the book, people's opinions had become an idol for me. It was something that I wanted, I craved, I wanted more than I wanted the things of God. And let me tell you the result of that. Complete anxiety to the point of waking up in the middle of the night regularly, having panic attacks. Because, you know, what's so interesting is I was a pastor's wife at the time, and there was no way to make everybody happy with me. In fact, I would say that regularly, on a consistent basis, people were unhappy with me. And because people's approval had become my idol, I didn't know how to breathe without it. And what surrender meant for me was freedom. Laying down everything that we love more than God and trusting him, that equals freedom for us. So the story you're missing is freedom. It's not just about what great things we can do on earth for God's kingdom, because honestly, freedom has to precede any work we would ever do for God, because otherwise we're doing it in bondage to ourselves, in bondage to sin. So our freedom is the thing that God wants more than anything. It is for freedom that Christ set us free. And that's in Galatians. And so this is the story that God's written for us. But I want to show you how cool he is. So in Acts 17, this is what Luke writes. He says, having determined allotted periods in the boundaries of their dwelling places, that they should seek God, and perhaps they would feel their way toward him and find him. I mean, this is the story of God, is that he is in control of everything. That he sets you in your allotted time, and he drew your boundary lines, your allotted place, and he did that so that perhaps people may feel their way to him. So there's more on the line than just our freedom. There's other people's freedom on the line too. And our stories are supposed to bleed into, and we are happiest when they are bleeding into other people's lives and other people's stories. This is how God built us, and we are missing it. We are missing the best parts of life when we try to control it, we try to hold on to it, and when we pick safe and comfy over God's will. I know, I love me a good Netflix binge, and I love me like my Barefoot Dreams robe, and I love me. In fact, right now, right before I got in here, I ate 4 Rice Krispie treats. Yes, I did. I get it. I like comfort too. I want things to be easy. But the truth is that that is never where I'm most fulfilled. That is never where God's stories are being built through my lives. Is it wrong to do that every once in a while? No. But what if we just end up spending our whole lives in robes watching Netflix? That is not the story we want to build. That's not the story that God has built for us. So do not miss it. I want to hear all your thoughts though. So share them with me. What holds you back? What keeps you from surrendering?